The arena lights dimmed, leaving only the hardwood gleaming under the overhead glow. Larry Bird strode off the court, every step echoing like a drumbeat of defiance. The final buzzer had sounded, the Pistons had won, yet the air itself seemed to hang on what was about to happen, or, more accurately, what wouldn't. He didn't shake hands. Not today, not with Detroit, not after they had knocked the Celtics out of the playoffs.
Hey, congratulate, like they do now. Hey, congratulate, love you, man, love you. Hey, congratulate you. I mean, we would have did it. Of course we would have done it. But during that period of time, that's just not how it was passed.
A simple gesture left undone, and suddenly, the moment was immortalized. Bird moved with the calm certainty of a man who understood that some statements needed no words. His focus never wavered, his expression unreadable, yet the message was unmistakable. Respect had its place, but principle demanded its own spotlight. Around him, his teammates followed without hesitation. The silence between the two teams was thick, almost suffocating, a wall of intention that only Bird could construct. To outsiders, it may have looked like arrogance. To Bird, it was clarity. Kevin McHale stayed back, extending his hand to Isiah Thomas. It was a brief, almost cinematic moment of grace, but Bird let it unfold without interference. Even in a display of defiance, there was room for quiet gestures of respect. The press tried to frame it as controversy, but Bird never needed validation. He never sought approval for how he carried himself. His focus was the game, his legacy, and the standards he set for himself and the Celtics. Walking down the sideline, Bird's eyes betrayed nothing, but every movement radiated intent. This was a man who believed that victories were earned. That respect was demonstrated in actions on the court, not handed out in obligatory post-game handshakes. Detroit's players waited, an awkward pause lingering between the two benches. The silence was uncomfortable for everyone but Bird. He had made his point, and he knew it would echo long after the buzzer sound faded. There was no malice in his demeanor, only a relentless adherence to principle. Larry Bird played every inch of the game with intensity, and that intensity extended beyond the stat sheet. Pride and standards were as much a part of his play as his jump shot. Some would later call it unsportsmanlike, but Bird didn't see it that way. He saw fairness in action, consistency in principle, and accountability in every decision. Handshakes could wait, integrity could not. He walked off the court, leaving behind the murmurs, the questions, the speculation. Every step carried history. Every pause a reminder that Bird didn't just play the game, he defined it. In Boston, stories of the handshake that never was became legend. Teammates spoke in quiet tones about his leadership, about how he set the tone without uttering a single word. Bird's actions were louder than any speech could ever be. Fans debated it endlessly, some seeing disrespect, others recognizing a code of conduct that demanded acknowledgement. Bird didn't argue with opinions. He didn't need to. His legacy was written in every pass, every shot, and every decisive moment on the floor. Detroit's reaction was immediate, yet Bird didn't flinch. The Pistons had their pride, but Bird had his standards, and those standards guided every choice he made. On and off the court, years later, the moment was still dissected, still replayed, still discussed. The silence of that post-game handshake became a symbol, a marker of Bird's uncompromising approach to basketball and life. He never saw drama, yet the drama found him, woven into the fabric of every playoff series, every rivalry, every Celtics-Pistons clash. The hand not shaken became as significant as any championship trophy. Larry Bird didn't need to defend himself. His reputation, built on decades of dominance, grit, and intelligence, spoke for him. Actions mattered more than explanations, and he had proven that time and time again. Walking into the locker room, the echoes of the gym still lingering, Bird remained composed, unshaken, unbothered. The moment had passed, but the lesson lingered. Respect was a choice, and principle was a requirement. The rivalry with Magic Johnson burned hotter than any playoff series. Every match felt like more than basketball. It was a battle of eras, of styles, of pride. Bird studied Magic the way a chess master studies an opponent. Every movement, every glance, every feint dissected with precision. In the Garden or on the road, he carried the Celtics' weight on his shoulders. The tension was palpable, fans hanging on every dribble, every shot. Bird thrived in it, feeding off the pressure, letting it sharpen his focus like a razor. Rivalry wasn't just competition, it was art, and Bird was the artist. Every pass, every screen, every jump shot against the Lakers was calculated. Bird knew that Magic was flashy, charismatic, a showman, but Bird countered with fundamentals, grit, and sheer will. He relished the battles, never backing down, never intimidated. Each time their eyes met across the court, it was a silent declaration. Only one would dominate today. Bird's determination wasn't loud, it was in his every step, his every pivot, his every precise shot. History remembers the points, the rebounds, the assists, but Bird remembered the small victories, the mental wins that no stat sheet could capture. The Celtics and Lakers were more than teams, they were extensions of Bird and Magic themselves. Bird carried Boston's pride like a shield. He remembered every previous defeat, every hard-fought victory, every playoff loss that stung. That history fueled him, giving him purpose. In every championship series, every close game, Bird's eyes burned with intent. He never played for applause or headlines. He played to win, to dominate, to define himself against his rivals. And Magic, brilliant as he was, always knew Bird would never relent. When the buzzer sounded, the tension really broke. The crowd's roar mixed with the pounding of hearts, the smell of sweat and hardwood. Bird's gaze remained locked on the court, tracking every second, anticipating every move. He wasn't just reacting, he was orchestrating, dictating the flow of the game. Each play was deliberate, each shot a message to the Lakers, to Magic, to the entire league. Bird's rivalry was personal, but it transcended ego. It was the purity of competition, stripped to its essence. Even in defeat, Bird never lost his composure. Losses were lessons, not excuses. He analyzed every play afterward, replayed every series in his mind, and refined his approach. Magic's smile, his effortless style, the way he could elevate teammates, it all mattered to Bird. It wasn't hatred, it was respect forged in fire. Every next game, every next season, Bird returned hungrier, sharper, more determined to tip the scales in his favor. Rivalries were eternal, and Bird embraced that eternity without fear. Off the court, the media tried to spin the narrative, dramatizing the tension, seeking drama where Bird saw only competition. He never played to the headlines, never reacted to the hot takes. His focus remained on execution, on precision, on consistency. Every Celtics-Lakers showdown was a proving ground, and Bird thrived under that pressure. The handshakes before and after mattered little compared to the battle itself. He knew respect was earned in the arena, not in interviews. Bird's legacy was built on moments like these, moments that defined greatness. Bird's Celtics weren't just fighting for championships, they were defending a standard, a culture, a tradition. The Lakers were the ultimate test of that standard. Magic, Kareem, worthy, they were formidable. But Bird's intensity never wavered. He attacked every matchup with strategy, with instinct, with an understanding that rivalries demanded more than effort, they demanded excellence. Every jump shot against the Lakers felt heavier, every defensive stop sharper, every late-game decision magnified. Bird was more than a player in these moments. He was the embodiment of competitive integrity. Crowds in Los Angeles and Boston knew the feeling. They sensed that when Bird and Magic faced off, it wasn't just basketball. It was a collision of legacies, a clash of philosophies. Bird fed on the noise, the tension, the spectacle. He didn't need applause. He needed focus. Every glance, every nod, every subtle gesture on the court carried meaning. The rivalry defined him as much as any championship ring or MVP award. Bird's mental edge was unmatched. He studied tendencies, exploited weaknesses, anticipated plays before they happened. Magic had talent, yes, but Bird had preparation, precision, and a relentless desire to outthink his opponent. Every Celtics-Lakers game became a battle of wits as much as skill. Bird's eyes missed nothing. Every misstep by the Lakers, every hesitation, every error was a small victory, a reminder that strategy could triumph over flair. Rivalries demanded mental stamina, and Bird had it in abundance. Even his teammates felt the intensity. Bird's presence elevated everyone around him. He demanded excellence, consistency, and focus. Against Magic, every Celtics player knew the stakes were higher. Bird carried the weight of the franchise on his shoulders, but never broke under it. The pressure shaped him, refined him, hardened him. Rivalries tested not just skills, but character, and Bird's character never faltered. The playoffs amplified everything. Bird and Magic faced each other in the grandest stages, with championships on the line. Every possession was magnified, every mistake punished, every brilliance celebrated. Bird thrived in the spotlight, unafraid of scrutiny, unshaken by the pressure. He understood the stakes, embraced them, and used them to sharpen his performance. Each series became a story, each game a chapter in the legend of their rivalry. Bird's competitive fire didn't dim with time. Years passed, opponents changed, but Magic remained the ultimate benchmark. Every encounter reminded Bird of what excellence demanded, of what competition truly was. He prepared relentlessly, studied endlessly, and executed flawlessly. The Celtics-Lakers rivalry was more than games. It was a proving ground for greatness. Bird's name became synonymous with intensity, focus, and a refusal to yield. Even as the rivalry matured, Bird maintained his edge. There was no nostalgia, no sentimentality, only the game, only the challenge, only the pursuit of supremacy. Every playoff series, every regular season showdown, every subtle glance across the court reminded him that history was being written. He wasn't just playing for himself. He was shaping the legacy of the Celtics, of the league, of competition itself. When the final whistle blew, victories or defeats were never celebrated quietly. Bird acknowledged them with measured composure, letting results speak for themselves. Magic, his rival, pushed him to heights others couldn't imagine. Bird's drive, his precision, his intensity, all sharpened by the rivalry, left a mark on basketball that would never fade. The Celtics-Lakers battles became benchmarks of greatness, etched into the sports mythology. In the end, Bird's rivalry with Magic was more than points, rebounds, or assists. It was about will, intellect, preparation, and principle. Handshakes and media narratives were secondary. Bird played with a standard few could reach, a focus few could sustain. Every game against the Lakers was a testament to his discipline, his intensity, and his unyielding commitment to excellence. Rivalries didn't define him, they refined him. And long after the final game, long after the crowds emptied, the echoes of Bird versus Magic remained. The handshakes left undone, the silent challenges, the intensity on every court. Those were the moments that told the story. Larry Bird didn't just compete, he demanded greatness from himself, from his teammates, and from the men who dared to rival him. In that fire, he became not just a player, but a legend. In the end, the hand that never shook became a part of Bird's mythology, a testament to a man who played the game on his own terms, whose standards were as high as his jump shot, whose presence alone could silence a crowd and command history.